Hi, good morning. Ilsa here from the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy. Nice to see you. Okay, let me make sure that I am live. I see myself. It's usually a good sign. Okay. All right. So, Ilsa Kamtiadeo here from the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy. I help soulful service providers, transformational coaches, healers, wellness providers to essentially get booked out without burnout and without doing any kind of yucky marketing. If at any point you're here live, you're here on the replay, say hi. I'm here from Boulder, Colorado. And today I want to talk to you about a big idea that I actually had a conversation with my good friend Sharon Buck about yesterday. Sharon is a really good friend of mine, and she's also an amazing sound healer. And we were talking, obviously, a lot of the people I work with are very sensitive. We have a gift to put out there. We want to change the world. We want to serve people. And we also are sensitive and empathetic. And the idea of putting ourselves out there and being rejected and bothering people is actually it's pretty difficult for us. I just realized I don't have. Hopefully you heard the beginning. But so part of the work in some ways, when we have a gift, when we have something to offer the world, is to actually find our courage and put ourselves out there. And so I was talking to Sharon yesterday, and I was telling her, we're talking about this. We're talking about how difficult it is to put ourselves out there and to risk being rejected and to risk bothering people and intruding on people. And I was sharing with her that, I haven't really experienced that in my own business, because usually the way I have booked out my own private practice has been by just having conversations with people. And it hasn't been about trying to sell people. It's literally been like I have a whole process of genuinely connecting with people, having conversations with them. And if they are my ideal client, they self-select. But now I'm moving from one-on-one work and I'm starting a group program. And so what happens when you're starting a group program a lot of the time is you can't just kind of slowly fill it up the way you fill up a private practice. You actually have to start with at least some kind of foundation or a small group of people. And so what I found is that sense of not wanting to intrude, that sense of being afraid of being rejected or being judged, started coming up for me because I was now having to reach out to past clients, current clients, people I had had great conversations with, and letting them know that my program was starting and that I had space and it was founding members, and might they be interested? Might they know someone who was a super high vibe healer or wellness practitioner or coach who would benefit from that? And that reaching of people, really gave me some empathy about my own clients, because suddenly I was right back into that place of hesitation, resistance. And so it took a couple days to work through that and to essentially hold myself in that, to realize that all of that is still true, and all of us want to be embraced. We want to be received. We want validation that people want our sacred work. And so that sense of not wanting to bother people or not wanting to be judged or not wanting to be ghosted or rejected is real. And as I worked through it, at some point when you start, especially when you're doing some kind of group program or filling up a retreat or, an event, a workshop of some kind where you need people all in one fell swoop, you don't have a choice. And so this is what got me to move through it. As I worked with myself for a couple of days, I realized a couple things. One of them, I decided that I was willing to risk failure. I was willing to risk being rejected, to even risk disturbing people, or because my business deserves it. Like the gift that I was given, if you look at yesterday's live, I talk about how your business is a living entity. And your business is not ours. It literally came through us to be our partner in bringing its own realization alive, its own actualization into the world. And so our business, the gifts we were given, deserve for us to put ourselves out there. And then the other thing is, I'm doing it. I'm willing to risk failure. I'm willing to risk rejection. I'm willing to risk bothering people or being ghosted or being judged for the few who will say yes. We risk putting ourselves out there for the few people who need our work, for the few people who are going to be damn glad that we reached out to them, that we found our courage, that we invited them, that we let them know what was going on with us. And that's happened to me before, by the way, where I've reached out to a few people and then I left a bunch of people out and then had people come back a long time later and say, hey, I just heard you did this thing. How come you didn't invite me? And I was like, I didn't think it was your thing. And they were offended that I hadn't at least given them the opportunity to say yes or no. And that's all we're doing when we're reaching out to people. We're not being pushy. We're not being salesy. Our heart is in the right place. Our intention is in the right place. We know ourselves. What we're doing is we're literally giving people an opportunity to say yes or no. We're giving people an opportunity to decide whether or not this makes sense for them at this point in their life, in this actual moment. And that's it. But if we don't do that, we rob ourselves, we rob our business, we rob our sacred work, we rob the gifts we were given by life, and we rob the few people who really need us and want to work with us. We rob them from an opportunity to actualize, to say yes, to do the work. And so we find our courage for all those reasons. We find our courage because at some point in some way, when we decided to start this business, when we decided to take our gifts and put them out there and share them with the world, we made some kind of unconscious contract with ourselves, with life, with our business, with our gifts, and with the people we're meant to work with, that we would do that we would risk failure, that we would risk rejection, that we would risk being ghosted, being judged, that we would risk bothering a few people for the good that we could do. And that's something I have to remind myself all the time when I reach to people. It's not easy. And yet it is the work that we have to do. As long as you're coming from a place where you're honoring your own heart, you're honoring your own gifts, you're honoring the people you're talking to, knowing that they are individuals, they're not numbers, and you're truly offering something that you know has value to change them, to change the world, to transform lives, then you have essentially your sacred work deserves no less. You have a duty to them, to yourself, to your work, to show up in that way and to risk all these things, however difficult they may be. And so I just said, fuck it. I'm doing it for the few who will say yes. I'm doing it because I know what I have to offer can transform lives and help healers and coaches actually serve more people with a lot more ease and a lot more joy and flow. And it's okay. It's okay if some people say no. It's okay if some people ghost me. It's okay if I minimally disturb a few people. It's okay. I do it for the right reasons. And I do it with an open heart and a pure heart. So on that note, I am starting a brand new program for healers, for transformational coaches, and for wellness practitioners to essentially learn my client overflow process to get booked out without burnout, without doing big launches, without ads, without complicated tech, without spending your day away or wasting your day away on social media, without creating a shit ton of content, but with staying in alignment with your soul, with staying in alignment with your ideal client. So if this feels interesting, if you want to know details, we are in founding members beta right now. So it's significantly discounted. I'm handpicking every person. That's going to be amazing, small, intimate group of super high vibe people. If you'd like to know the details, if you'd like to have a chat with me potentially to see if this is a good fit for you, then put clients in the comments or send me a message on Messenger. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful in motivating you to put yourself out there and to stop hiding out, because the world needs you to. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.